Hello YouTube, what's up to my subscribers? This is Nathendo145 back again with another review video after so long. This review video is going to be on Super Mario All-Stars, the limited 25th anniversary edition for the Wii. I'm going to talk about what I think about each control method or control option, and what do I think about what comes with this set, with it being a big box Wii game. So that's what we're going to first talk about. It's a big box Wii game, as you can tell. So, reading the back, we have new Wii remote controls. This is the Super Nintendo game, basically. We have a soundtrack CD, and we have a history booklet. And I really do love the presentation. As we can see, we have the 4 Mario games from Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm not really a fan of Super Mario Bros. 2, otherwise known as Super Mario Bros. USA in Japan. I'm more of a fan of this Super Mario Bros. 2, which is The Lost Levels. And for this, they're saying 1993 because it was first unveiled in the United States with Super Mario All-Stars. Its first release of the original release was on the Wii Virtual Console, because these games have really awesome redesigns, in my opinion, for the 16-bit Super Nintendo. I really love the redesigned pixelation that they've done on the Super Nintendo release compilation. And then we also have Celebrate the Sounds of Super Mario Bros. And Celebrate or Discover the Origins of Super Mario Bros. So this is really nostalgic, going back to the original Super Mario Bros. Before this video, I actually did play a little bit of Super Mario Bros. On my Wii U through the Wii Virtual Console. I did play a little bit of Super Mario Bros., the original release, not this. But I really like the CD, so I'm going to open this up. And there's 2 cases in this box. It's not in one case where they have like a flap. It's just 2 separate cases. They don't have a flap on this case like they do with the other games for the Zelda and Kirby anniversary releases for the Wii. First, we're going to go through the soundtrack here. I'm not going to play the soundtrack, but I'm going to talk about the bonus stuff that comes in this case. So as we can see, we have a picture of an old CRT TV from back in the 80s. And we have the Nintendo Entertainment System here with Super Mario Bros. In Japan, we got a very similar art, except it showed the Famicom disk system and it showed Famicom cartridges. But this is the NES from the United States. And then here it says Super Mario History. And then on the back here we have a list of the songs that are on the CD. It's kind of hard to see because it's kind of a reflecting gold. I don't know how they do that on printed paper, but it's really unique. And then we have the history book. We have a CD. We have one song from each of the mainline home console games here. And then all the rest that's down here are all sound effects from the original Super Mario Bros. So that's that. So let's go through the history book. On this, we have a picture in red of all the... we have a bunch of pictures of Mario from each of his games. I'm assuming they did not include Mario Land on here simply because that's on the Game Boy, and that game was not in color with it being on the Game Boy. But we have the chronological order of the games from 1985 to 2010. The only handheld game on here is New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. And then we have a picture of Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario. And we have some of the games from the NES, the N64, and the Wii. And then we have all the games, and we're going to have a picture of all the games here. I briefly talked about this in my unboxing video for this, so feel free to check that out as well. But I'll do it again if you're watching this video. So we have the the controller here of the system, and then we have the date in gold here, and then we have the box and the cartridge or the disc, and then 3 pictures from the game. That's how it is going to be for every single game. So we have Super Mario Bros. Here from the NES, released on October 18th, 1985. And then we have a picture of planing sheets on graphing paper, it looks like, because those are squared and Mario is in 8-bit. And, of course, with graphing paper, you can do those designs very, very well. And I've actually even tried to do that, or I tried to rebuild Mario on graph paper. Then we have Super Mario Bros. 2, released on September 9th, it looks like this says, 1988. And Super Mario Bros. 3, releasing on February 9th, 1990. Both of those are for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And these are the North American release dates, by the way. And then we have Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. Actually, a launch game, just like Super Mario Bros. On the NES. We have Super Mario World here, which came out on August 19th, 1991. The last time I read up the release of the Super Nintendo in North America, it said August 13th. And I'm hearing some people say it launched in September of 1991, so I don't really know the exact release. But we have the Super Nintendo controller here. I've never had a Super Nintendo or the Super Nintendo controller in my hands before. I only had the Nintendo Entertainment System controller. And then we have Super Mario All-Stars here from the Super Nintendo. They figured they'd mention this because it's Super Mario All-Stars ported to the Wii, releasing on August 13th, 1993. And in Japan, Super Mario World was actually known as Super Mario Bros. 4. And then Super Mario 64, this says August 23rd, 1996, but I'm sure that this game released on September 29th in North America because this was an N64 launch game, and the N64 came out on September 29th of 1996. And for the fun fact, for the NES, SNES, and then N64, so 3 home consoles straight, a mainline Mario game launching with it was actually the best-selling game for those platforms. So far, up until the Wii, the best-selling game for the platforms on home consoles was a game released in its first year, if it wasn't a launch game, though. Then we have Super Mario Sunshine, a game that I don't really like all that much, but it's the mainline game on the GameCube. Wasn't a launch game, though, but was released on August 26, 2002. Then we have the GameCube controller here, N64 controller there. New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, which released on May 15th, 2006. Then we have a picture of the DS here, the original DS. Yeah, and then next we have Super Mario Galaxy, released on November 12th, 2007 for the Nintendo Wii. The first mainline game for Mario on the Wii. I didn't really spend too much time on this game like I did with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, my favorite game of all time. Releasing on November 15th, 2009 in North America for the Nintendo Wii. And they show the Wii Remote and Nunchuck here. And then for this, they show the sideways Wii Remote like an NES controller, which I find interesting. But basically, that's the way you would control those games. It's a different control style. But I'm glad they brought a 2D Mario game to the Wii, because those are the Mario games I really enjoy a lot. The only exceptions for 3D games, again, are Mario 3D Land and World, because they have those 2D elements, or those platform elements. Yeah. And then last but not least, we have Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii, which released in this year, 2010, on the 23rd of May. Then we have some pictures. And then the baddies with the 25th anniversary Mario logo. This year, it's going to be the 40th anniversary for Super Mario Bros. This year, Mario's going to be, the first game is going to turn 40 years old on the 18th of October. I go by the North American release, simply because I live in the United States. And then on the back here, we have the history of the games. So that's a preview of the book. And then the game itself is just basically a Super Nintendo game, so I don't have too much to say. But I do like having a way of playing the Super Mario Bros. Games on the Wii. I have it on my Wii U, but now I have a way of doing it on my Wii because, you know, the shop closed and you can't buy those retro games anymore on the Wii. So it's nice to have this along with the Kirby set. I'm surprised Zelda did not have that, but it's fine. But I really like the restyles of, especially Super Mario Bros. 3. I would have to say Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite restyle in terms of this Super Nintendo compilation, because I really like the, because I do find it somewhat similar to Super Mario World. Not in terms of graphics, but it has some similarities that it shares with Super Mario World. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same game. But now I'm going to talk about the controls. First, of course, I played with just the Wii Remote, sideways. It's a sideways Wii Remote game again, because you're controlling it like an NES, with the games all being NES games originally. But you hold the remote sideways, and if you remember playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii, then you remember having to have the controller like this, sideways, and you move just like you would if you're playing New Super Mario Bros. Just there's no shaking, because it's an NES game. And you'd use the 1 button as the B button and the 2 button as the A button. I did not have an issue with this control option. Next, kind of a weird option, the GameCube controller, because of its shape. It was not really intended for playing classic games because of its shape. So the D-pad is really small, which a lot of people complained about. I don't really remember at all if there's a control method with the C stick here. The joystick is, of course, going to be a movement option along with the D-pad. You could play like this, but of course, or like this, but of course it's not something that it's incredibly easy for me because the A button's so big, and usually I'm used to like having more space, because usually my position of my hands would be this finger on the A button and this finger on the B button, like I would with an NES controller or a Wii Remote in this instance. Like I would do it like this, usually, when I play Wii games sideways. But, so with this, another option is to do it like this, with holding the X is kind of awkward to do it with, and the Y button is still kind of tricky, because I'm so used to having the button be on, like, this side of the A button, not this side or this side. So I don't think this is the best control option. And then the best option is, of course, the Wii Classic controller. So it's basically similar to a Super Nintendo controller. It's a Super Nintendo controller combined with a PlayStation controller. So in terms of it, the fact that it adds joysticks and it adds 2 extra shoulder buttons, which I don't think have a purpose for this game. But of course you can do it like this, which is how I'm used to playing Mario games, holding Y down to dash and then A to jump, or you can do it with the B button too. And then D-pad, you can use the joystick here, but of course many people are gonna use D-pad because this game was intended to be played on a D-pad, not a joystick, as you know. But that's that control option. That's probably the best you can get. In Japan, actually, there was actually a Super Famicom Classic controller released for the Wii that the only difference was this port, but it was the exact same as a Super Famicom controller in Japan. But with the NES Classic mini system and with the Super Nintendo Classic mini system, those controller ports are actually the same as the Wii Classic controllers, so you can use those and plug them into your Wii Remote if you want to play those games and just go back to the old days and relive some nostalgia from these games. So those are my reviews on the controls, the Wii Classic controller obviously being the best one, because it was intended to be used with these games when they released on the Wii Shop channel. So all I got with this was the manual. I did not get anything else. but we have a nice picture of Mario hitting a question block with a 25 on it. Actually, in Japan, if you ordered the red Wii console in Japan, it actually came with a Super Mario Bros. Game on it, with the difference being that all the question blocks would have the number 25 on them. But otherwise, it's the same. And the game is actually the exact same in Japan and America. No Japanese text in the game, it's just all English, which I find funny. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up my review. So I'm going to put everything back together. I'm going to put this back in the box. Wait. There we go. Simple as that. There we go. So that is my review on Super Mario All-Stars for the Wii. A little bit long, but I just wanted to be thorough on this review, going through the booklet and going through my reviews on the controls. So thank you for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description below, of course. And as always, have a good day.